Maya Caradell Nickson grew up in Birmingham's Crestwood neighborhood. She was 21 years old. Why, she was a nail technician and a hairstylist. And she was actually good at it. This was not a hobby. Clients came back. They referred their friends. She had a presence, a skill, and a plan. She talked openly about wanting to run her own salon one day. And she was doing the work to get there. Quietly, consistently, building something real. She was also very active online. She shared her personality, her life, her energy. The kind of person who could post a video at midnight and have people watching it like they had nowhere else to be. People felt like they knew her personally, and a lot of them did, at least online. But there was something else people noticed. High-end jewelry. Photos with large amounts of cash. A lifestyle that raised eyebrows for someone her age. Someone who was supposed to be building a beauty business from the ground up. And that is where the nickname came from. The Birmingham Setup Queen. The whisper on the streets was that Mia had a habit of getting close to men and putting them in dangerous situations. Nobody ever proved that. No charges, no convictions, nothing on paper. But the streets do not need proof to give you a reputation. And once that name attached itself to her, it followed her everywhere she went. Now, before we get to the night she died, you need to understand something that happened to Mia almost exactly a year and a half before. Because without it, you cannot fully understand what kind of strength this young woman was carrying when she was killed. December 2nd, 2022. Mia was in her car at a red light. She had two men with her. One she had known for a while and his friend. While they sat at that light, the car was hit with gunfire. One of the men with her did not make it. Mia survived, but barely. A bullet traveled from the back of her head, through her ear, and across her face. She lost a partial hearing on her right side. She lost partial vision in her right eye, and she spent months in rehabilitation, relearning how to do basic things that most of us never think twice about. A year later, almost to the exact date, she went online and told the full story herself.
Okay, this is story time about how I got shot or whatever. So I was talking to this boy. We was talking for like a couple months or whatever. So he used to always be in my car, like ride around in my car. We used to always be together, riding around, stuff like that. So, this day, he told me to follow this dude so he can buy some pills. So we followed the dude so he could buy the pills, this and that. So we get done buying the pills. It's me, him, and his homeboy in the car. So soon as we like get to the red light, we was at the red light, like all we had to do was just turn around and boom, you at the red light from where we was. So we get to the red light. He trying to put the location in my phone so we can go to where we was finna go. So it was shooting, but me, I didn't think that they was like shooting like at us, because while they were shooting, they were driving up. So when they were far back, it just sounded like it was somewhere else. So when the bullets started coming through the car, that's when when the bullet started coming through the car, I hit the gas, but one of the bullets hit me. It went from the back of my head, through my ear, and across my face. So that, like, I heard a loud pop, and then, like, you know, the ringing that you hear in your ear, that's what I heard. Like, my ear just started ringing real loud, and I just blacked out. So once I blacked out, I crashed into a tree. So when I hit the tree, I went like this, like that's what woke, like, kind of let me come back to conscious. So I woke up, and instantly I just opened the door, and then his homeboy that was in the back seat, he jumped out, and I got out, but I instantly fell to the ground, and he was like, "Mia, get up," and I couldn't get up. Like, I don't know how long I was on the ground. Like, I just was unconscious. So That's when I just hop up. So when I hop up, I open the back door and I laid in the back seat for like 2 seconds, but then I remembered that he was in my front seat. So I jump up and I'm looking for my phone. I'm just looking for my phone. So I find his phone and I'm screaming his name. I'm like, I can't say his name, but like, I'm just screaming his name. I'm like, what's your password? What's your password? I got to call the police. I'm like, what's your password? What's your password? Once, like, I kept calling him and I was trying to, like, just make sure that we all was okay. So, like, that's when I'm just screaming his name. I knew, like, once he wasn't answering me, he was gone. So, like, the people from across the street, it was a store across the street, like, the people from across the street, they come over. So I'm screaming our names. I'm just trying to let them know who he was. I'm just screaming our names. I'm like, please just call my mama. Please, like, just call mama. And I'm going to do a part 2 on what else had happened that night. So. Okay, so this part 2, they put me on they put me in the ambulance. So they put me on the bed, put me in, I'm sure, So I'm just asking them the whole time, like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna be okay? Please just tell me, am I gonna die? I was like, am I gonna be okay? So, like, I was so swole, so, like, the pressure from everything was just making me, like, so sleepy. So I'm telling myself, I'm like, you can't go to sleep. You got to stay up. I'm like, you got to stay up, because I know once you go to sleep, that means, like, you're dying. Like, once you feel sleepy, that means you're dying. So, like, I'm like, I just got to stay up. So they finally rolled me in the hospital. And I just remember, like, a warm blanket coming over me, because they had cut all my clothes off and I was just, like, completely nude. So, like, they rolled me in there and then they just put a blanket over me. So, like, that's when I'm just going in and out of consciousness. They doing my chest like this. They just doing my chest like this. So once they started doing it, I, like, instantly was kind of my sense, like, hell no, like, you got to get this shit together. Like, I'm trying to just breathe right and just do everything right so I can stay woke and stay alert. So I was going in and out of CAT scans. I remember waking up in one CAT scan, but the accident happened at 8 p.m. I didn't leave the hospital till 6 a.m. the next morning. So as soon as I got rolled out of the hospital, all my family was there. Well, now, let me go back. They was stitching my ear up, and I remember screaming so loud. Like, I never been through nothing like that. I never broke no bones, never had to get stitches, anything. So they was stitching my ear up. I'm screaming because it hurted. Like, I thought they put you to sleep for stuff like that. So finally, it was time for me to get discharged, and they rolled me out the hospital. I see all my family, all my friends. Like, I just was so relieved. Like, I just knew, like, this my second chance. Like, it was just unbelievable. So instantly I'm asking what happened to the boy that I talked to. I'm asking, like, what happened to him? Is he okay? Where he at? Like, I'm just asking a million questions. Nobody wanted to tell me nothing. So finally my friend, she just told me, she's like, Mia, he gone. I just instantly, like, broke down. Like, yeah, I instantly broke down, because, like, nothing, I never lost nobody close to me. Like, we used to be together every day, like, literally eat, sleep, all that. So it was just heartbreaking. Like, like, how am I gonna adjust to life without being with him, type stuff like that. But about my eye, it's a black thing covering my eye. Soon it will be all the way over my eye and blocking my whole vision. And my ear, the bullet bust my eardrum, so they're gonna try to do surgery or see if they can do surgery to fix it. And I know y'all probably gonna want to see, so here he go. So y'all probably gonna ask stuff like this, but he had ops. You know, you fuck with a nigga who had ops, and this was the outcome of it. So
in her own words. She talked about crashing into a tree and waking up on the ground. She talked about looking for a phone to call for help. She talked about screaming her friend's name over and over and getting nothing back. No answer, just silence. She said she knew, before anyone told her, that he was already gone. She talked about being stitched up in the hospital while she was fully awake and conscious, about going in and out of CAT scans, about fighting to stay awake because she was convinced that falling asleep meant she was dying. She stayed in that hospital from 8 in the evening until 6 the following morning. When they finally rolled her out, her entire family was waiting. She described that moment as her second chance at life. That case, the red light shooting, was never solved. No suspect, no arrest. It went cold, and Mia kept moving. She kept doing hair, kept doing nails, kept building her clientele, kept showing up, kept living. Then, in October 2023, Leeds police arrested her on serious charges. Her bond was set at $40,000. She walked out without hesitation. A 21-year-old in the beauty industry, posting a $40,000 bond like it was nothing. That did not quiet the speculation around her. If anything, it made it louder. Early morning, January 10th, 2024. Mia went on Facebook Live just after midnight. A man the streets knew as Youngster joined that broadcast. And what followed was not a calm conversation. The argument that played out on that live was loud, heated, and very public. At the center of it were accusations, specifically that Mia had played a role in setting people up. Youngster was defensive. He was throwing out details about phone pings and tower locations before anyone had even asked. He was building his alibi in real time, on a live broadcast, in front of anyone who happened to be watching. He made a point of saying he knew that girl was outside, that somebody had called her back out, that the whole thing had been a setup. These two were not strangers. Same city, same streets, same circles, same nightlife scene. They both knew the world they moved in. And the exchange between them that night was intense enough that people watching from their phones could feel where it was heading. After that broadcast ended, Mia did not go inside. She stayed in her car, parked in the driveway of her family's home on the 800 block of Greencrest Turn in Crestwood. She was right outside her front door. She was home. At around 1:45 in the morning, officers responded to a call of a person struck by gunfire at that address. When they arrived, they found Mia inside the car, unresponsive. Birmingham Fire and Rescue responded and pronounced her dead at the scene. The other people inside the home were unharmed. Whoever did this was already gone. No witnesses came forward. No physical evidence was recovered at the scene. 30 minutes. That was the window between when that Facebook Live ended and when the 911 call came in. 30 minutes from a public argument about setups, phone pings, and locations, to a dead 21-year-old in her own driveway. Investigators made it clear from the very beginning. This was not random. Mia Nickson had been targeted. Now you already know what the internet did with that. The Facebook Live was right there for anyone to replay. The argument, the accusations, the timing. People had already made up their minds before the sun came up. Youngster's name was everywhere, and he knew it. The very next day, he posted publicly. He said people would do anything to paint someone as a villain. He said he had never been the kind of man to put his hands on women or children. He said he stood on what was real, and that the truth would come out.
Nobody never said they was in no A, no none of that. I was just on live down here. If I did it, them phones gon' ping. I got 3 phones tell my direct location, where I was, what. Y'all know how the police play. If I somebody, they'll want these phones, want all that. Stop playing with me, I ain't no rookie to these. Oh, did, boy. How the girl still outside 45 minutes late, gonna be still sitting outside for front of messages, see what the girl saying, ask them what they doing. Man, somebody called that girl outside. She got all that, put my name in it. Doing all that stupid, talking about a bando and about a project. Boy, you know how far I was? You know where I stayed at last night? Every time I go to sleep, y'all playing. I'm trying to get you, feel me? Just chill, man. Stop bringing me up on live internet. If I did something, the police will have me in handcuffs. Came and got me for that mug shot y'all seen. For the receiver store, they came straight to my house. The gate city, all that looking for. Them folks know if I did that, just like they know if anybody else did. Phone's gonna ping all that. You think I'd be on live and if I, what, how the feel me? I'd be signing some shit. Oh, God. Police come get you for anything else. Why they came and got me? Stop playing with me, man. About that petty, boy. Ball talking about youngster. Keep saying my name. If I did it, the police would have came and got me. Don't they come get you for everything else? Can't they tell where you was any other time? Y'all know what somebody did. I would have deactivated all that. Talking about trying to put it on somebody else. I ain't trying to put it on you. Stop trying to put it on me. I don't even got that type of time on my hand, girl. Stay. We ain't about this girl. That's on live talk. Oh, God. We just on live talking. If you seen the live, you know then that's serious. Somebody, you got some messages. Lil Jay called me after the on New. When bro, before they even hit the internet, Lil Jay called me on my mama. Lil Jay called me talking about the girl shot it. So you feel me? We like, you see we in the house, you feel me? Don't go to bed, leave from all the way out there and go all the way to the east side. You feel me? That fast. That fast.
Till the person come back.
In 30 minutes. It be just normal.
In 30 minutes. That's what the
keep playing with. They had nothing on that old true yet. Talking about the A. Never said we was in Atlanta. They in the A for now all of a sudden.
like
That fast. That fast. And the police come get you for robberies and everything else. Don't y'all think they would have came and got me? Don't y'all think they would have got these phones and seen my location and seen where I was? Them folks just surrounded the projects and got my own. Ain't showing my picture, saying where he at. Police just surrounded us. Time out. Stop playing with me. On God. On that lane store, you see the girl had all type of on. And I ain't even finna talk about her on Newcomb, man. I ain't finna say nothing else about her. But it's other going on with that little situation. Stop playing with me like that. Ain't no way this girl still in the car. 45 minutes after a lie, 30 minutes after a lie. So you think this girl just sitting outside? You think she just sitting outside in the car?
You saying she finna be outside her car waiting on us to pull up?
That's what I'm saying.
This girl got shot outside her shit.
Outside the car. And it wasn't that many shots a night. That's what's up close, real personal. Somebody made that girl come back outside, man. Stop playing with me like y'all dumb. I don't know. That girl had a champion all. Stop playing on me. Do nothing to that girl. I don't even know where this girl stay. Stupid talking on that hoe. He just making up. Everything he said, he just making up. I don't know. That boy said, hey, twin. That boy said a bando by Gay City. What?
He said what?
We was in the bando by Gay City when we was on live this morning. Well, you know where we was. Man. You know where we was. Man, stop playing on me, man.
Bring the towers out.
That's what I'm saying.
Tie with the phone.
Tie with the phone, man.
Tie with the phone.
Tie with the phones, man. Bruh, I never said once I was in Atlanta. What am I talking about? When I said I was in Atlanta? Who else heard me say I was in the A? Who else heard me say I was?
Don't no fake page comment on blood.
Somebody that was on the line. Who heard me say I was? Well, I never won.
He was never formally named as a suspect by law enforcement. Not once. But the internet does not wait for law enforcement. Meanwhile, Birmingham police were working the case. They made public appeals. They asked the community to come forward.
Also new now at 5, Birmingham police asking for your help to find whoever shot and killed this young woman, Mia Nickson, back in January. Investigators say her family is hurting and pushing for justice in her case.
Our Tristan Rupert is live at 5 and on your side, talking with investigators about this case. Tristan, what can you tell us?
Police believe Mia Nickson was targeted, actually, and they say community help could be critical in them solving this case. I spoke with Birmingham police officer Truman Fitzgerald earlier today. He says detectives have looked into every single lead they could really concerning this case, and that a tip from the community could be critical in really cracking it wide open. Now, Officer Fitzgerald says Nickson was beloved, talented, and really excelling in the hair and nail field. He says Birmingham police won't stop searching for the person responsible for her death, and stresses no matter the information, you need to come forward if you know something.
Nothing's too small. We know the streets are talking. We know Mia was extremely popular, but our detectives need that information. So anything you have, please call that into Crime Stoppers.
A $5,000 reward was announced through Crime Stoppers for any tip that led to an arrest. Months passed. Nothing. No arrest, no named suspect. Just a grieving family, an open case, and a city that had mostly moved on. A whole year went by, and then some. It was not until February 25th, 2025, more than a year after Mia was killed, that Birmingham police announced they had obtained a warrant. A suspect had been charged, and the name was not Youngster. The name
Boys on a mission, my only commission is causing a lot of commotion. No one can hold me, like no one can scold me. I'm turning into the big homie.
was Damian McDaniel, and 22 years old, from Bessemer. And by the time his name came out in connection with Mia's case, he was already sitting in state custody. The moment that name dropped, everything people thought they knew about this case shifted. Because Damian was not just charged in Mia's murder. He was sitting at the center of something that had been quietly tearing Birmingham apart for over a year. A wave of violence that the city had been living through without fully understanding just how connected it all was. But before we get into all of that, who was Damian McDaniel? His father had been serving a federal sentence since 2013. 26 years. Damian grew up without him. He attended Fairfield High Preparatory School. In October 2019, when he was just 17 years old, he was arrested on school grounds after 2 people were hurt in a shooting. And that case took years to move through the courts. By April 2023, he pleaded guilty to both counts and received a 15-year sentence, structured as 2 years to actually serve, with the rest suspended, followed by 3 years of probation, 2 years for shooting 2 people. He walked, and then, almost immediately, Birmingham started bleeding. Between July 2023 and September 2024, 14 months, the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office was quietly building 8 separate cases, and all connected to one name. When it was finally laid out, authorities linked Damian McDaniel to approximately 18 people dead and around 30 more injured, across multiple incidents. Some of those attacks were being investigated as paid arrangements, as in, somebody hired him. Police would later say that Damien and his associates were responsible for more than 30% of Birmingham's homicides during that stretch. 30%. One person. Let that sit with you for a second. Now, the victims in these cases deserve to be named. So let's go through what those 14 months actually looked like. July 2023. A Birmingham firefighter named Jordan Melton was shot and killed. He had been subpoenaed to testify in an unrelated trial before he lost his life. His colleague Jamal Jones was also shot and survived, but his life was permanently changed. This did not happen in the streets late at night. This happened at their fire station, at work, doing their job. Valentine's Day, week 2024. A young couple, Angelia Webster and Chris Norris, were killed together. They were expecting a baby boy. They had already chosen his name, 7. Both of them and their unborn son were gone on Valentine's Day, April 2024. A UPS worker named Anthony Love Jr. was targeted in a parking lot after his shift ended. He had given nearly 20 years of his life to that company. He was walking to his car. That is all he was doing. July 2024. Over 100 shots rang out on a Saturday night in 5 Points South, one of Birmingham's most popular nightlife districts. 4 people were killed. 17 more were injured. The victims standing outside Hush Lounge were Anitra Holloman, 21 years old, Taj Booker, 27, Carlos McCain, 27, and Rodri Lynn Patterson Jr., 26 years old. A vehicle pulled up, opened fire, and drove off. Over 100 shell casings were recovered at that scene alone. Less than 24 hours later, more shots in East Lake. A man killed, 2 others injured. All of it, according to Birmingham authorities, connected to one person. Here's the part that will stay with you long after this video ends. Earlier in 2024, before any of these charges came through, Damien McDaniel appeared in a documentary. It was called The Most Dangerous Place in Alabama. He sat in front of a camera and spoke openly about violence in Birmingham, about the mindset behind it. He explained his logic plainly and without hesitation, on camera, voluntarily, while allegedly in the middle of all of this. That is one of the most chilling things about this entire case. Not the body count, not the charges.
Don't put the trophy on the shelf.
That's a question. Answer, yeah, let her answer though. Let her answer. Let her answer though. Let her answer though. I ain't got nothing against nobody, mama, or none of that. So if they grieve, they don't grieve. That ain't got nothing to do with them.
Do the same thing to you, so why not do it to them? Why show them compassion when they ain't gonna show your folks no compassion?
Basically, saying he ain't sparing shit.
For what? They ain't gonna spare me.
Gonna put it like that.
Yeah, wait. When if their son end up dead and they come to court, they ain't gonna spare me in the courtroom.
Hey, I know
they gonna want my ass shot.
Nah.
You hear me?
Yeah, when it be us, they be laughing and shit. Think that shit funny and shit.
That's what I'm seeing as well, bro. Like, again, when I go to these hoods, when people talk about murder,
the fact that he looked directly into a lens and explained his thinking like it was nothing, like it was just how the world worked. So, where does Mia fit into all of this? That is the question her family has been sitting with since the moment Damien's name came out. So it's because the connection between him and Mia has never been fully spelled out publicly. Was it tied to her reputation on the streets? Was it connected to the Facebook Live argument with Youngster? Was it a paid arrangement? Was there something the public still does not know about? Investigators have not laid that out. Not yet. What they have confirmed is this: Mia Nickson was targeted. Her death was not random. And Damian McDaniel has been charged with her intentional murder. Yet when Birmingham's interim police chief made the announcement, he was clear. The investigation did not stop with the arrest. Every lead was still being followed. There were indications that additional victims could still be linked to Damian as the work continued. Birmingham's mayor addressed the victims directly.
Good morning, everyone, and I want to start by thanking Chief Michael Pickett, as well as Deputy Chief Brown of the Birmingham Police Department Investigation Bureau. I think one of the main responsibilities I have as mayor is to make sure I can provide our police department with the available resources they need to do their job. In this case, nothing's more important for our detectives having every single resource made available to them. What's happened over the last year and a half has been horrific, with one person causing so much pain in our community and taking away loved ones or families. Jordan Melton, Anthony Love Jr., and Mia Nickson. You can add on the fact that Jamal Jones' life was changed as well in the most dramatic way possible. I want to extend my heartfelt appreciation for Chief Pickett, for all the detectives, and Deputy Chief Brown for not letting up, for keeping their foot all the way down on the gas pedal and doing everything they can to bring justice to these families. I have spent countless amount of time with Miss Rochelle, Jordan's mother, Mr. Melton, his father, and their extended family. I have Chief Moon standing here. This ripped through the fire rescue service like no other thing has happened since my time as mayor. It was important to bring justice, not just to this family, but to let our firefighters know that we have their back and front, and we were not going to rest until this person was held accountable and brought to justice. But Anthony Love Jr. did not deserve to die at his place of work either, and Mia Nickson didn't deserve to die simply by being at home. And Jamal Jones didn't deserve to be assaulted the way he was as well, being at his place of work. My message is very simple. To all of these victims' families, we are still in lockstep with you, not just through our prayers and thoughts, but through bringing justice. But my message is also to all those other families out there who have lost a loved one. Our detectives continue to be locked in, literally looking under every rock to bring justice and bring formal charges for those who have taken other loved ones as well in the city. As Chief Pickett said, I want to thank all the partners who made this day happen. And as mayor, we'll continue to do everything we can to make the city safer. Thank you.
He said Anthony Love Jr. did not deserve to lose his life at his place of work, and that Mia Nickson did not deserve to lose her life simply by being at home. Simply by being at home. She was in her own driveway, after a Facebook Live, at 21 years old, and the system had already seen Damian McDaniel come through, plead guilty to shooting 2 people, and walk out in 2 years. 50 families were now paying the price for what came next. By the time Damian was brought from state prison to Jefferson County for arraignment, the charges against him had grown into something almost impossible to wrap your head around. Mia Nickson's case, Jordan Melton's case, Anthony Love Jr.'s case. And those were just the new additions. He was already facing charges from the mass shootings, from 5 Points South, from East Lake. 14 people dead. That was the total murder count attached to his name when his attorney stood up in that courtroom. His attorney, John Robbins, entered a not guilty plea on every single count. He made it clear that as far as the defense was concerned, no evidence had actually been presented in court yet. They planned to build their own independent case from the ground up. The prosecution, District Attorney Danny Carr, was not interested in a long back and forth. When asked directly if the state was seeking the death penalty, his answer was one word: yes. Not, we are considering it. Not, all options are on the table. Yes. The courtroom itself reflected just how raw this case was. During one of the early hearings, there was an incident in the audience that Jefferson County Sheriff's deputies had to physically break up. According to Damien's attorneys, his mother was threatened right there inside the courtroom. His defense team raised that publicly. They pointed out that Damien's mother and his family had been receiving ongoing threats and that law enforcement was already aware of it. The judge had to address the room directly. She made it clear, with the amount of security present, so anyone who could not conduct themselves would be escorted out or held in contempt. Then came the jury question. Damien's attorneys raised serious concerns about finding a fair and impartial jury anywhere in Jefferson County. The case had been all over local news for months. Nearly every family in Birmingham had some connection to at least one victim. His legal team was considering filing a motion to move the trial entirely and brought in a jury expert to survey the county first. The judge acknowledged the reality plainly. She said it would reach a point where the city was empty trying to find 12 people with no connection to any victim or their family. It is going to be hard. That was the honest answer from everyone in that room. With 8 separate prosecutions in motion, each one likely to be tried independently, the legal road ahead is long. The first trial, connected to the mass shooting, is set for April 2026. The others, including the case directly connected to Mia, are still being scheduled. Justice, when it comes in a case this size, does not move fast. So let's just sit here for a second. Mia Nickson was 21 years old. She had a client base she built herself, a salon she was working toward. She had already survived a shooting that should have killed her, gone through months of rehabilitation and come out the other side, still moving, still building, still here. And she was shot dead in her own driveway after a Facebook Live in the early hours of a January morning. Jordan Melton was a firefighter. He went to work and never came home. Anthony Love Jr. gave 20 years of loyalty to a job. He was walking to his car after a shift. Angelia Webster and Chris Norris were picking out a name for their baby boy. They had already chosen it. 7. That was going to be his name. None of them made it to meet him. Angela Weatherspoon, Mauricia Gettings, and Stevie McGee, Lorandis Anderson, 4 people at a birthday party. Anitra Holloman, Taj Booker, Carlos McCain, Rodri Lynn Patterson Jr., 4 people standing outside on a Saturday night in a neighborhood they loved. Charlie Moore, a woman inside a bar on what should have been an ordinary night. 18 people gone, 30 more carrying injuries, some of them permanent. Nearly 50 families whose lives were completely rerouted inside 14 months. And for a long time, Birmingham had no idea how much of that pain was connected to one name. That is the part that stays with you, not just the crimes themselves.
Boys Boys on a mission, my only commission is causing a lot of commotion. No one can hold me, like no one can scold me. I'm turning into the big homie.
But the fact that the system had already seen Damian McDaniel, had already processed him, had already handed him a 2-year sentence for shooting 2 people and then released him back into the same city where all of this happened next. Everybody wants to talk about keeping violent offenders off the streets. But that conversation needed to happen in 2023, before 18 people were in the ground. For Mia's family specifically, the arrest gave them something: a name, a charge, a direction. But it also cracked open questions they may never get complete answers to. Why her? What was the real connection between her and Damian? Was it the reputation that followed her? Was it the Facebook Live? Was it something the public still does not know? Those answers may come at trial. Or they may not come at all. What is certain is this: Mia Nickson did not deserve to die in her driveway, and her family deserves to know exactly why she did. The world kept moving. Birmingham kept moving. But 50 families are still standing in the same place they were the moment they got that phone call. And no verdict is going to change that.